Is Namsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. With me today, I have Dr. Bigot. How are you, Dr. Bigot?
I'm doing well, Numsa, and good afternoon. And how are you and everyone listening?
I am very well, thank you. I was commenting the book. I was saying speaking peace, by the way.
Thank
you,
you.
you know the book in front of you, your book. I've got to read it again. Yeah, I've got to read it again. Peace is what I need in my life. Oh, we've got Shireen, full house. You've got Shireen. Where is she?
I'm here.
Hi, Shireen.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Having looks at what I've got here. I can scribble.
Great surprise.
Ah.
The pop-up balloon.
Uh,
Shireen and Kamal. They always surprise us. It's good to be surprised.
yes. We have to surprise ourselves.
Okay,
So, how are
I
you
was
all?
about to introduce the topic.
What is it? I went looking on Nkosi Short. I was trying to find the Google Sheet for that. Ah, this is this way. This is this way. Yes. I couldn't find the Google Sheet.
Okay, so
Find the
the topic is, we are live, right?
Oh, right. Shouldn't have let
Can
me.
saying I love you too soon to ruin a relationship? According to some people, people are different. Saying I love you too early, a relation is it can be a sign of a red flag and may negatively impact the relationship. However, others say that right time to say I love you is when you feel it. So when you feel it, you say it. Depending with the relationship, every relationship, guys, is different. There are some people who meet people, they just know that this person is just the one. And they just know that I have been waiting all my life for this right person. And then a few months later, they start telling, I love you, I this. So, but some people, it can be a red flag. So we're going to share um, with you guys as coaches what we think, and you can share and type what you think as well. What do you think, ladies? Shireen or Dr. Bigot, whoever wants to go first.
That's a great question, Snumsa, on when do you say I love you? And I hear you that sometimes we, for many of us, to say hearing I love you too early could be a red flag. And that is a very interesting question, isn't it? Wonder why that's come from. Because if you look at somebody who is a child or somebody who is young, I mean, I love you is actually a beautiful expression. And we say that to a lot of other people, mothers to their children and all these things. But when it comes to somebody who we would love, there are people who enter relationship for all different reasons, except love, right? And at the same time, did enter relationship for love. Something as a grief coach, I tend to say in one grief by definition is the unsettling feeling caused by unmet hope, a change or a loss. And I tend to say I'm yet to know anybody. There are people, of course, but in general, people enter, say, a marriage with a hope that it will last. And it's not that, oh, I'm going to marry the person so I can get divorced in 5 years or something like that. And the same thing with love. With love, we enter a relationship typically because we want to be able to love the person and to be loved. So if hearing the word "I love you" is you perceive as a red flag, particularly if you hear it earlier in the relationship, then you want to ask what trauma or what other people with trauma are you adopting? Because if you truly, in general, people are honest, if people are honest, then we love to hear the word "I love you." And if that hearing that at any time point trigger a red flag and you say, oh, this person saying it too often, I wonder what's the reason. Is it he just trying to scam me, or is he just trying to fool me, or all these things? Then we first, I'm not saying that it will never be a red flag, but you also want to be mindful that is that induced by either other people trauma that they plan in your mind that this will be a red flag, or your own trauma that make it a red flag, perhaps because somebody did that with you early on, and or other people who had somebody say "I love you" to them early on, and then truly turn into horror stories, so to say. Because like you say, Numsa, in my experience, I know people not even months. I know a beautiful, amazing couple. Both of them are in their late 80s now. Both of them in their 80s, and they got married. Actually, I know three couples. Yeah, three couples. All of them are married within a couple months. They met and they know what they would love, and this was from back then. They met when they would love. They were married within a couple months. I personally are a very the type of persons that know very well what I want. And when I met my former husbands, within a week or so, I said, this is a good guy. This is the right guy. And we were engaged within a couple of months and married within a year. And we're no longer married, but it was a beautiful, wonderful, long 15, beautifully long, 15 years marriage. Basically, both are college kid when we met, and we grow up and complete our journey together. But everybody's different. But also, you want to ask. Nowadays, I hear all these things. Oh, if they say "I love you" within this time frame, or all this. But back in the day, thankfully, I didn't have this trauma paradigm. And so when I hear him say, "I really love you," and all so forth, all good. It's beautiful. We were able to proceed without traumatizing each other because we said "I love you."
Yes, so interesting what you were saying there, Birgit, about those couples that got married very quickly after, in late times where they got married very quickly. They kind of knew, in a sense, what they wanted. And so, yeah, that's kind of predicts some of the stuff that we've probably, when we're in that stage, either we've sorted out all our stuff and our trauma, so we don't have to worry, right? And I think you're quite right that most people, when they hear "I love you," and they're not ready for love, and I'm going to say ready for love because they don't love themselves enough to be ready. So the moment they hear someone say "I love you," the backstory of their life kicks in, right? Love means, oh, this, and oh my God, all of a sudden I feel trapped. I mean, I'm in a space that I don't want to be. So it really is so important to kind of know that when you're feeling that red flag, whatever the red flag is, it's not about saying, no, this relationship's not working. It's really about going, that's curious. What's going on here? If I'm hearing this statement by somebody saying, I love you, and it's too soon, well, maybe it's because you haven't yet had enough information around to see that this person's trustworthy and fits with your values. Maybe you're kind of in the middle of something, and when you've had a trauma with love, maybe in the sense when someone says I love you, they have expectations of you. So it's about really looking and going, how long have I known this person? What sort of evidence are they doing to tell me that they actually truly love me? How are they doing love? If we're not going to feel safe if we haven't got that evidence yet. So the moment we feel it, we have to be curious. We have to be curious. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm feeling this odd feeling and love. I should be delighted. And I'm not. What's going on? And then and I think when we're younger, we're probably more likely to be more black and white and more polarity, and if we have been traumatized. But if we're sort of a little older, we tend to probably, I'm going to not say all old people, but older people, but in general, we've had life, right? We've experienced life to some degree. So the chances are we're more likely to be able to sit back a little bit and go, I have a definition for what I think love is. How what would my doing love be? So I think that's the really, I do think saying you love someone might be too soon, particularly if you haven't been in a relationship and it hasn't been an authentic one. So you're still high in the sex state, right? The state of infatuation, which is often, certainly when we're kind of meet someone, if when we're in that, we're seeing them as wonderful human beings, but there's always something that's there, that trigger that's there saying, oh, let's just check it out. Let's just check it out. And that gets triggered straight away by those words of love. So I think it's, and then you get people that say, well, why won't they say they love me when I'm saying I love you? There's another one, isn't there? And it's really interesting about those kinds of relationships that we have. What do we, when's a good time to tell someone that we love them? Can we start maybe by saying, I really like you a lot. Yeah, I want to get to know you. I don't know yet whether I can love you yet, but I know that I can like you, and maybe start there might be a useful way. So maybe checking out, do you really like me? When you say you love me, do you just really like me, or do you actually love me yet? So and get to really explore love. I think that's one of the key things I would think about now, because I'm older. But when I was younger, oh my God, I used to get triggered. I used to get triggered a lot about it, particularly because of what I had seen in my family dynamics. And I immediately saw they would say, I love you. And then, will you do this? Will you do that? Will you do this? Will you do that? And they would use love as a way to coerce. So when my partner first told me that I love him, that he loved me, I kind of, oh, wait a minute. I really nearly bolted until I kind of thought, but actually I love him. What's going on? What's going on? And that was when I kind of started to think about, maybe there's evidence that he is showing love in a different way, which I hadn't seen before. So I had to do a little bit of a rethink what love was about. Namsa, you've got a nice young man who's who loves you dearly.
I like it, Dr. Biggett, when she says that she has 3 couples that she knows that they got married very, very quickly and they're still together now. And she got married very quickly with her ex-husband and they're not together. So love story is different. And I also like, Sharon, when you say, when is the good time to actually say, I love you? I think it depends with for me personally, I feel that it depends with the relationship, and it depends with somebody their past, what they have gone through in life, and it depends with the blessings, because there are some relationship that is a blessing, some relationship is a connection from God and the universe. When you meet the person, you just know that this person is meant for me, and you don't question their abilities, you just know because they just God, it brings somebody who complement your values, your beliefs. When you say, "Oh, okay, what interest you activity wise," and they just says the same thing that you like, and goals wise, their dreams is similar to what you want. You're like, "Oh, I love that, I love that," and then in the end, you're like, "Wow, how did we meet?" And then by the time maybe by the end of the month, that person, both people, they just know that, you know what, I found what I've been looking for. For me, I think for me with my relationship, I'm talking for my own experience. um the relationships that I actually connected myself, those relationship saying I love you, I had to work for them. I had to work for that relationship to win that person's trust. But when I actually hand it over to God and say, you know what, God, my choosing spouse is not working, and I am sick and tired of meeting the wrong guys. Even if they're the right guys, I don't even know what to do with them. So let your way be your way. When I met my spouse right now, everything it just happened. It was like everything it just went with the flow. Uh, it was just like everybody was like, but the only thing that people were saying, like, you and your spouse are hit and run, like your relationship is not gonna last. But for us, we knew that it was real, it was true. So it depended with whatever like the relationship, where does it come from, where you've been. Me, I had actually gone through my healing, and after that healing, going through uh, sorting out my life, that's when I knew. But there are some people who come to you, they enter a relationship with fear, and that fear, insecurities, and then they tell somebody they love them, or genuinely is the other person who falls in love with somebody, that the other person, like Shireen says, when the other person now, they are now declaring the love for the other person, and the other person is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now they start questioning, why does he really love me? Why does he say? Some people is red flag, but some people is genuine. Some people is real. It's what they feel inside. Because that genuine, these two energies have linked together, and that person, they've allowed themselves to enter in that world, in that spouse's world, and enjoy it. But then the other person, because they've been hurt before, when the other person declares love, they're like, oh. I love you to me means that I run. I have to run.
That was me.
Run. Never look back, like Shireen. And then that's where sometimes I hear people say, Nomsa, he said he loves me. Is that real? Is he for real? I'm like, what is there to question? They're like, it's the woman will be like, I don't think it's real. I'm like, you, when you entered the relationship, you entered the relationship because you wanted to enjoy that relationship, but you're holding yourself back because you don't want to enjoy. Let it go. Whatever happened in the past, let it go and just enjoy. Go with the flow. I don't know. What do you think, Dr. Biggett?
Well, you say it
Run.
very well, and you said it very well, and Shireen gave a beautiful example. It's like you said, okay, your trauma is when somebody say love, and when we say trauma, we don't have to be in a war and witness something traumatizing. It could be trauma to your heart. Your heart your heart felt full, so to say. That trusting heart of a child that say, love is a beautiful thing. Love is something that's awesome and beautiful and wonderful. And then as you grow up, that heart that say, I thought love's supposed to be pure. But now it seems that when people say love, it means they want something from me. That traumatized heart. Your mind might not be traumatized. Your mind might be able to create a logic around something, or the traumatized heart who says, "Oh, I thought my body loved me, and I love my body, and my mind and us in this body is together." But then it seems that the mind always berating our own self. So what happened to the love? Why do we say we love ourselves, but then we speak so harshly? Is that what love is about? So when we talk about trauma, doesn't mean that you're always witnessing something catastrophic, but it just could be a trauma to your very own tender heart. Perhaps at a very young age, like you said, Shireen, is when you as you grow up and you experience that love is something people used to coerce other to do something. Who wants to be coerced? That's traumatizing to our very tender heart. That's oftentimes it's like the purest form in us, like a child. And the same thing if you say, yeah, I love me, and then you turn around and when nobody's watching, perhaps without even saying it out loud, look at you, you ugly with your ugly eyes or your ugly belly or your ass, your stupid little thing. Why did you say that? Is that an actions of love? Are those actions of love? No. And that traumatizes your heart more and more and more to the point when somebody says, like you said, somebody says, I love you. You say, in your mind, you said, oh, this is wonderful, he loved me. But in your heart, and we know nowadays that our heart is it really signals the way our mind does, except our heart is up to 60 times stronger and faster than the mind. So when you hear the word love, your mind says, oh, awesome, what a beautiful thing. And your heart says, run. Because oh my goodness, here come coercions. Oh my goodness, here's come berations. Oh my goodness. What a sad thing if you really think about it. And so, like you said, Shireen, it is something that where we want to be able to clear our trauma, to release our grief that many times we don't even realize there is trauma and grief in there, and to be able to allow love. Because the truth is, if we look at it and look around, look at outside there, look at the tree, look at the plant, look at the animals. The truth is, love is always here. But love is always here. There is love here. The reasons natures grow the way natures is and so forth. This is because there is always love here. There's love here before we're here in the purest form. While you're here, in you, with you, through you, and there will continue to be love here even after we live here or we live here physically, depending on you and on your belief. But we because of many people behaviors and society, we complicate love.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. We complicate it because of all the expectations that we have attributed to love, right? I mean, we just need to look at social media and the idea of what love is, right? And the amount of people that have opinions about what love is and what love isn't and all of these things. I'm one of the things that I was really interested in, and a little bit of what you kind of talking about, the tender heart that's been hurt. And the idea that, you know, little traumas, it's the little traumas, not the big things, not the massive ones, that really are the ones that are these little niggly parts of ourselves that come in the way. and they set us up for probably not loving in the way that we could love, so which then means there's a space for somebody else to love us. And I was thinking about something with the idea that how we love might be very different to the way someone else loves, right? So how we give love or how we want to receive love. And anyone who's done the love languages really is a very powerful way to understand that, you know, my love language is tactile. So my love language is I'm not really interested in presents. I like them, but I can get them for myself, right? But what I want is someone to phone me on my birthday. I want someone to come in and say, oh, wow, it's so nice to see you, right? I want them to walk through the door and find me and give me a kiss, right? Those are that tells me you love me. Now, for someone else, that might be kind of overwhelming for them, right? So when you're in a kind of relationship, one of the key things, even when you're just starting out in your infatuation, because when we're infatuated, we are pretty much our godlike self, right? We don't see any bad things of this person. But the problem is that person does have their own upbringing and their own language of love and their own way of being. So we have to find a way that we can actually communicate how are we going to get our love needs met. So I had to have a conversation with my partner because his idea of love is very different from mine. And I had to say to him, when you go to your mom's house, you are going to put your arms around me. You're not going to walk away. You're going to put your arms around me and sit next to me every now and then, right? You're going to hug me. You're going to walk in and you're going to hug me first. And you're going to say, you know, I've gone to the shops. If you come in, you're going to acknowledge me. If you don't do that, that's a problem for me because I had my trauma and I needed him to know that my trauma, that not doing that would trigger my abandonment, right? And so he knows now that that's what he doesn't do. If he walks into the house, he finds me. And it doesn't matter where it is. And at different times of the day, I can't feel him, I'll go, where are you? Just want to know where you are. I don't care if you're out and doing whatever. I just want to know that you're okay. So it's these little things that really are important when we set up relationships with people, that we know their love language. So even those questions, when you know, what matters to you? Do you want a present or do you want a call, right? What matters to you? All these things that show someone is considerate of you, that someone is really caring of you, that someone's going to hold you, because when we're safe, we can love so much easier, right? When we know and can trust this person, then we absolutely won't be triggered. And if we do get triggered, we can overcome it very quickly. So I think, you know, so the love languages was something that was revolutionary for me, but it was really something understanding, people do love differently. And yes, they do love differently because of their trauma. But if we understand what we're doing, then that makes it so much easier to kind of recognize, that's my trauma. So I can ask for this. I can ask for that. Maybe later on it won't matter so much, but you need it for the tender time so that trigger can come down. And also it builds trust when someone is doing whatever they need to do to make sure they show you that they love you.
I love that, Sharene. You made me laugh.
Well, you can see what happens in my house.
I love that. Yes. But some people, they don't communicate their love language. they would rather go and speak to somebody else, like wondering, what do I do? Or if I say this, or just completely not communicate, but expect for them to enjoy that relationship. I like it the way that you say you communicated your want, your desires, your love language to your spouse so that he knows what you want, what are your desires. Because if you don't feel that, and if he's not able to actually fulfill that relationship, your needs, that means your relationship is not going to work. So what is the point?
Yeah.
So I love that. I really, really love that. That is amazing. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I like it when Dr. Biggett said sometimes when we say I love you, that's when the heart wants to do a runner because the heart has not accepted themselves. Um, it's nice, like what Sharina was explaining, that she actually communicated her love language to her spouse, and now her spouse know that this is how my spouse like to be loved, and he knows that he can fulfill her needs. And when it comes to Dr. Bigger, what she was saying, when the heart says, "Here's I love you," and the heart has not accepted that love, wants to run because to them they don't believe that love exists. If you have not really accepted yourself, loving yourself, or having compassion within yourself, there is no way that you can receive love to somebody else. Or there are some people that say completely, "I love you," because they just want to keep that person, and they don't know what love is. Love start within. Once you experience that love within, any person like that you date comes into your life, you're sharing your experiences, what you have experienced in that love. And your subconscious mind, which is your soul, is then accepting that to say, "You know what? I like you. Come to my world. And I love you." And then sometimes when the soul is saying it out loud, sometimes people freak out, but sometimes they welcome it because they know it's real, they can feel it as well. So it's important to actually communicate your love language. Like Shireen said, communicate it. If you really, really want to, you love somebody. And it also is important to work on what Dr. Biggett said, the broken heart, like grieving. Some people, they enter a relationship while they're still grieving their past relationships. Work on your past relationship, and then when you enter your other relationship, just enjoy. As long you're attracted to each other and getting to know each other really well and communicating, understanding the power of emotionally intimacy. That is really cool. For me, what I said to Gary was like, "Gary, you know my story. Just go and find me. Go search a man that compliment me. Me and Martin were just as bad as each other. We are really, really bad. It's like it's two people who are like similar things. We just there. We just we were just complemented with each other like that. When we have problems, we have problems like other people in a relationship, but we are just similar. We have similar parents. Our parents divorced and they remarried, and we just have all these things where we don't do drama. Me and him, we're just the same. We just stay away from. We get told what is happening in the family. We don't really get involved in the drama and stuff. So we just live our lives and enjoy lives, and it's important because when you work on your a broken heart, you mend your broken heart. It means whenever you want to, when you enter another relationship, you're ready emotionally to connect, to truly, truly connect. What is true love, by the way, Dr. Biggett? When is the right time now? Somebody who will be watching, they'll be like, So when is the right time for me to tell my spouse that I love them?
That's a beautiful question, Snumsa. When is the right time
Yeah.
to tell your significant other, your date, and so forth that you love them? And I would say the first thing is back to what you say, actually, and what Shireen implied. Firstly, what is love for you? You tell the other persons when you tell the other person you love them is when you feel the love. To me, the answer is when you truly feel the love. But do you know what is love? Do you know that your love is pure? When you feel that, to me, when you're truly able to feel the love, love is not a thought. There are feelings and there are thoughts. And love is not, yeah, I think I love you, you know. You think you love? Well, what do you mean by you think you love? Do you love or not? Then when I coach people, this is what it is. As a grief coach, we talk about the heart and release the feelings that is what that are weighing your heart. And sometimes people say, yeah, you think I'm upset. I'm like, you think you're upset? Okay, let's talk about your feeling. And the truth is this: your heart, when it comes to feelings, your heart never need to think. The heart knows. If you ask somebody, what do you feel? And then they got to sit there, let me see. I feel, let's see. Well, mama says this if you come from a divorced family, and the neighbor says that. So, maybe I should feel this way. That's not a feeling anymore. If a client takes more than 2 seconds to answer how they feel, I know that's not a feeling. When we're coaching and we're releasing trauma, and I say, okay, so how do you feel now? Well, I feel. Pause. Go back. Get out of your head. Go back to your heart. Take a deep breath. It's okay. You're safe in this space with me. How do you feel? Let me talk to your heart. How do you feel at this moment? And they immediately say, within 2 seconds, I feel this and I feel that. It feels this. Okay. Feeling is not thoughts. And heart and love is a feeling. So when do you tell people? When you feel it in your heart. When you're able to pass through your mind and all the doubts and all the trauma and all the yada, 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 and all the concept of how many gifts has he gave me? How many favor have I done her? And all these other things. How many favor has he done for me? And all these other things that society imprint in your mind on what love is. Well, really nice person here, but the bank or their accounts in the bank is only 100,000 pounds, and I kind of prefer ones that has 1,000,000. So maybe I shouldn't love yet. That's not love. It's all your concept and so thought. Love is a feeling. When you say you love, when you truly feel that love. And that's translate to you need to be able to feel the love. Just look at a puppy. If you happen to be a person who loves dogs, who likes dog, then look at it. That you look at a puppy. Oh my God, I feel love. You feel it where? Not in your head. You feel it in your heart. Same thing here. When you say you love when you feel it in your heart. Now, if you discover that you're not able to feel it in your heart, then the question is, what traumas covering your heart? What traumas break your heart? And sometimes the first place is if you're truly able to feel love, you are able to feel love for yourself. To a puppy, to a kitten, yes, but when you look in the mirror, you're able to love you, to feel love. Because if you're not able to fully, truly love yourself, when it comes to other, that traumatized heart at some point going to step in. But if you're able to look in the mirror and say, yeah, I see an imperfect person in here, but I feel the love for you anyway, then you're able to feel love, and you would know when you feel the love to somebody else, the person whom you are dating, not because there's $1 million in the bank or because there is that many gifts has been given or not yet been given, but feel the love, feel, not think. And that's when you say it, I love you. And if you feel that it might be because of all the society believe it is too early, it's very simple actually. If you truly feel the love, first love is not fearful. Love is kind and love is freeing. And so you can proceed by saying, if this is too early, I apologize. But deep in my heart, I am able to feel that I love you now. Keep in mind, love is kind, love is freeing, which means if you truly love the persons and the persons hear the word love and they try to dart and run, then love is freeing, love is kind, then you have in your heart where, yes, I love these persons and I would love for the persons to love me back. But if what he or she needs at this moment is a space to recover from that trauma, may it be an honor for me to help, but if it's not, may she or he be free. If you are able to do that, that's true love. And people can actually feel true love. Even with all the trauma, they could feel true love with the most pureness and honesty. And even if they run, like you said at the beginning, Shireen, probably because he truly loved you. At the beginning, you say, ooh, and run. And you're like, wait a minute, I can feel this. Maybe in your mind, it's not quite yet, but in your heart, the heart can feel it and say, you know what? Yeah, like, pause, come back here. This is true.
I love that. I love how you just put it so succinctly there, Birgitte, which is so very important. So yeah, the idea that, love is not a thought, right? It's a feeling. So very important, because part of our way of moving forward in life is to use the part of our brain, or the thinking brain, and that thinking brain often doesn't connect well with our body brain, right? Our heart. And we always say the heart or the body is the vehicle to the soul. It is the soul. It is that other expansive part of us that is our soul. That's everything emanates from our body. So if our body is not feeling safe, then we're not going to automatically, we'll hit into thinking, and we won't really feel. But what you said really was so interesting, which was that when we look in ourselves in a mirror and we tell ourselves we love ourselves, we're not perfect, but we love ourselves. I think what really came up for me was that truth. We can still look at ourselves and say, you know what, you could lose a little bit of weight, but that's okay. I still love you, right? I'm only suggesting that, or having a look and noticing difference, but noticing difference with discernment from that space of love, rather than looking at it from a critical place, right? So we need to kind of be able to take care of our health in a different way. So we need to have evidence and observe, but we also need to have that balance of saying, hey, okay, it's okay now. We can manage this. We can do this. And I think that's a really important aspect that you brought up there. And love is freeing, right? Love is expanding. When you love, when you feel it, it's a whole body feeling, right? We feel it from our heart, but it kind of vibrates through all of us. And I know that when I think about love, I just, my whole body gets warm. I get warm. I just kind of want to move towards them, right? So, and you go, oh, yeah, I want to do this. If that's the case, then trust that that's what you must do. And I love what you said there, Bigot, which was, Dr. Bigot, what you said was, if this is too soon for you, I apologize. And we talked a little while ago about talking about I apologize means you get it heard differently from I'm sorry. But that's kind of like it slows it down so that the person is now already in the receptive mode because we're being authentic and loving and open. But I want to tell you that I love you. And by doing that, we're saying to this person, this is not conditional. This is just, I'm just saying it. You don't have to worry about whether I am okay with you not saying I love you or not. Because the love is coming independent of what anybody else feels. It's independent of whether it's the right time or not, right? It's independent of that bank balance which you were talking about. It's just, I have this feeling. I know and I appreciate that you may not be ready to hear this. There's maybe something going on for you, and I'm giving you the gift of just receiving me in a different way. That's all. And I think that that's a beautiful expression that you used there. And I think people should really think about that, which is if you're feeling a little like you want to share your love and you feel it, it's just to do that precursive part, which is just to say, you know, you may not be ready yet, so I apologize. But I just want to tell you this. And it's not conditional. It's just that this is what I feel. And there's no expectation. And I think that shows, and that's where I go back to Nomsa, where she said, you and your husband had already dealt their shit, right? You'd already done your inner work, which meant that you were open to being able to just say what you needed to say. And you were able to receive what you could receive, because you were now expanded enough to receive it. Yeah. Whereas if we're closed up and our heart is closed down, we can't receive a damn thing. So we need to be open to truly receive love. And we have to be able to work and deal with that. So we must make sure that we really know how to love. Really know how to love ourselves, because when we love ourselves, we're kind to ourselves, we're going to be much, much kinder to other people. We're more likely in that moment in time to receive them and to see, yeah, the good parts of them, right? And to work through the other parts that may be their triggers and their concerns. Yeah, so that's really what I was thinking while I was going through that.
Yeah, true love, true love. I think I agree with you. I like it when Dr. Pickett says as well that if you feel that you have said it, the other person is not ready, apologize. Say, I apologize for saying it if I've said it too soon. But I think if you're not ready to love, there's some people, they take time. If feelings, it takes time, which is fine. And people, they take time in their own pace when it comes to relationship. But there are some people who are just ready, like, they're like, you know what, I'm ready now. There's never going to be a good time for me to be ready. And I like it, Shireen, when you say observe everything, observe. For me, it was like when I entered the relationship, it was like I am observing things, but at the same time, I am enjoying my ride. And I remember my spouse looking at me and saying, Nomsa, you are not fake, are you? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm done. I told myself that I was done pretending to be something that I'm not. So I was just being me. If he finds me walking with barefoot, it's fine. If he finds me dancing in the living room, it's fine. So I was no longer trying to entertain. You know, when people fall in love, the people that things do when they fall in love, they go to the gym, they buy aftershave, they change aftershave, they smell so marvelous. And then after a year, they stop doing them. But for me, it was like, okay, this is my character. This is who I need to be. I don't need to change. I just need my spouse to meet this woman that is real, that is kind, that kind with integrity. I was no longer going to put on no makeup, no personality, and pretend to be something that I'm not, because I was tired of being told these words, I love you. And then a few years later, somebody changes their mind. Because the people do. Like they say I love you, and then they're not really, and then the relationship doesn't. Once we catch the fish, what we've been looking for, don't need to work on that. So I like, Shireen, when you say observe your feelings and at the same time enjoy the ride. Enjoy every moment of it. I think that is very, very, very important to actually enjoy it. And also, uh, when you take time as well, if you are somebody who says, I want to take time, you just take time. And the most thing that kills a relationship, ladies, is when the ladies go for coffee, they start comparing the notes. What does your husband say? Yep, they do that, and that kills the relationship. It destroys the relationship because you are no longer in a ride based on your want, your desires. You are in a ride based on comparison, based my friend's spouse says this to her, but mine it does not say it. Is there must be something wrong? That means he does not love me. And then you get home, you start comparing. Some men gets told that, listen, honey, my friends, they do this in a relationship, but we don't do it. So, ladies, do not compare your relationship, guys. It kills the relationship. It kills romance. If a guy is taking his time, that means the guy is scared, or that means he's been in that place where he's been rejected. He's scared. Let him take his time. Communicate your needs, like Shireen said. She had to tell her spouse, this is how I like to be treated. You hold me. This is how I like it when you do this, because otherwise the poor guy wouldn't know what to do. But she had to communicate those needs, and that it depends their love. When she says, honey, I love you, that means she means it. So don't go for coffee and comparing notes. When I did my personal development, it was the day where I said, I'm no longer going to talk about my spouse to anyone. I'm just going to just enjoy the ride and just be the person that God created me to be. If my relationship don't work out, I'm going to be okay as well. And just be okay with being you and enjoying that ride in a relationship. I think is very, very important. Falling in love, the process. There's a process, but as I said before, there's a different, some relationship, God has already prepared them. It is just there for somebody to fall in love, to commit to a long-term relationship and live happily ever. But some people, they have to work. And also authenticity and readiness is required in a relationship. If you're not authentic, and also mutual feelings as well, is you just have to be natural. Let everything be natural, and also timing. Don't enter a relationship if you feel that you're not ready, or you're still wounded. Timing is everything, guys. As you go through healing, you go through everything. Timing is everything. Over to you, Dr. Bigot.
Yeah, thank you, Numsa. I love what both of you say, and this just come to me, and you are on the top of the hour, so this will be one thing that I would leave everyone with. Even we talk about love with others and we talk about love for yourself, just try this. If for anybody who is continuously, say, working on their weights or their body, those who are working on their weights, let me ask you, if you're working or you're trying to lose weight, where is that coming from? Many times we ask our body this and that and this and that because of demand or whatever belief that we believe from society instead of love. The next time you try to lose weight or look this way or look that way, ask yourself, is that coming from love? Do you want to be lighter because you love you and your body, or because you're trying to meet some society demand? And when you actually come in from the place of love, of true love, of you love you, you love your body, and you love your health, you'll discover you do not need to put any effort. You can kill every scales in your house or donate them or give them away or whatever. And then you will always be at a place of that love. What do you love? I experience, I have many clients who experience this. I experienced this myself. A good part of my life, it was always, I was always in a reasonable shape. But it was a struggle. It was a fight of me demanding my body to be XYZ and my look to be ABC and all these things until I finally learned decades ago now to love myself as is. When I ask something for my body to come from a place of love, because I love to be healthy, because I love me, because I love my body. And then suddenly, it's so easy breezy. Suddenly, it's suddenly of, I would look at something that used to be, oh my God, I want to eat this, I shouldn't eat this and that. I suddenly say, I love me and I love my health. And no, I don't even want to eat that anymore. I don't have a scale in my house. I have not been on a scale anywhere except in doctor's office because that's a requirement when I do my checkup once out of a blue moon. But otherwise, I don't have a scale in my house for decades. I will, and I do not have that. I choose to eat very mindfully, but I don't have any restrictions. People invite me to things and say, so are there things you eat, don't eat, what have you? I said, I can eat anything. I literally able to eat and drink anything as I choose to, and and it's easy breezy pleasy. There is no don't eat this and this and this. My body, who knows that I love her. My heart, who love me and help, knows when to stop and when to enjoy in moderations and all these things. And so that is try coming from a place for love, even with yourself, whether it's your look, your body, or your anything else.
Yeah. That's so interesting and such a brilliant thing that you said there, Dr. Bigot, which is really, if we're looking for things like that, we're not necessarily coming from that place of love. We're coming from a place of outside constraint. Because if we truly love our body, then we will listen to what our body will follow what the body is telling us rather than the other way around. And that is, something that's so, so important. And often one of the things that I do, particularly when I'm in kind of situations where I'm that are challenging, I'll turn around and say, what does love want me to do? What does love want me to do? And just asking that question, because if you know what love is expansive, love is kind, love is compassionate, love is forward moving, right? It's moving towards something, and love automatically drops our autonomic nervous system or regulates our nervous system to balance. If we ask that question, what does love want me to do? It means that when we're in a tricky situation and someone's fighting or saying things, we'll stop. We'll go, okay, what does love want me to do? Okay, what love will want me to be kind. Kindness doesn't mean I get rid of my barriers. Kindness doesn't mean I don't have boundaries. Kindness just means that I will listen with compassion. I will listen with care. I will hear them. I will be present to the moment. I'll give my present of my presence, to the present. So it's such an important thing to be able to do that, because when we do that, we stop. And when we say that, what does love want me to do? We will then do the very right thing that we must do, because we won't have a saboteur. We won't have our scared part of ourselves running the show. I'll say saboteurs, but those parts that are the dark side of us, they won't come forward, because guess what? Love is taking precedence, and we'll more than likely get a really good result after that. So I love that you talked about the eating, because it's so important. When you're eating something, you want to have that little extra. You can say, what would love want me to do? And love would say, don't have it. Love will say, no, you don't need it. You have me. You have me. Right. And so that's the takeaway that I would ask you all to do. Just ask, what would love have me do? And then follow love.
I love that. I love that, Shireen. Thank you. And Dr. Baker, to follow your heart. Some people, they believe that going to the gym 7 days a week is going to help them to win the husband or whatever they win, or the wife. Unfortunately, it's not. Love comes from within. Everything else is just a bonus. But you accept yourself for who you are 100%, unapologetic, and become that. And then enjoy the ride, communicate your wants and your desires as well. Of course, we are all wounded. We're all going through challenges in life. But when you go through this love, make sure that you go through the healing so you can experience what love is about in a relationship. Some people don't get to experience the true love because themselves, they don't truly love themselves. So true love is love that comes from within, and then you share that love with somebody else. But you share it by being honest and being authentic and be the person that you were created to be. Me, I get told by people, I get told off by people because sometimes when I meet people, they want me to be what they expect me to be, but I can't be that. I can only just be this norms. I cannot be anything else. So I get told, I get told off by people, and sometimes they move away and then they come back. They're like, "Oh, Nomsa, I was wrong." I'm like, "Yeah, I never tried to change anybody." So it's very important to just love yourself, communicate the love that you want to your spouse, enjoy that relationship, and also if you have fears as well, communicate your fears as well. Let them know your fears, and don't go to your friends and backstab your spouse or talk about your fears, because people will just tell you the things that are not there, and then you start making things worse, sabotaging your relationship. I'll prefer a professional coach. Have a professional coach on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, on your phone. Speak down. Somebody that you trust, that you can, whenever you feel like I'm doubting this, and just say, can we have a chat? Sometimes a consultation might cost you $50 just to have a chat for 1 hour. Somebody giving you advice. It's not a lot, but some people, they'll prefer to sabotage their relationship. So guys, if you are somebody and you want to know what is true love and you're single looking for love, please go to our website, www.hseia, or you simply want to find your own voice, lead from within, go to the website as well. And there's a button where you can press and connect with us. There's a button for love where you can just press the button, fill out the application form, and get in touch. God bless everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. See you on Monday.